Let's have a quick look around this interface. I won't kind of dig in too deep because there's quite a lot to it, but I'll just do the main things that you need. So let's have a look. Pages. When you do any template, it's going to come with a number of pages that are part of that template. So I forget the name of this one. I think it's Almar, but you can see it's got these pages here: about us, our services, blog, and contact us. So it's got all these pages already set up for you because you've gone through this template, you figured out you liked it, and so it figures you like all the pages that are included with it. But you don't have to keep them. If you can see, it's quite small. It just says demo by the side, and the only way you sort of make these real is by clicking them. And then you can see the demo's gone away because it now thinks, oh, okay, you want an about us page that was styled like the demo. So it's all here ready for you, and you can go in and you can customize the elements. 2 bits to pages, and I'm just conscious of time, I'll try not to get into too much detail, but main navigation and not linked. And the difference between those is these bits in main navigation appear here, so you can see them as links. Not linked doesn't appear here. Now I know there's a contact us button, but that's a button that's sort of behaving differently. But you can't see a home page, right? That's because it's the page you land on, and you don't necessarily want to go back to that. So that's the difference between these two. The only other thing I'll show you in here is plus, and that gets you to add a page. So whatever page you've thought about doing, there's options for you here. So if it's a specific sort of page, you can do, as you can see here, you can do a blog, a store, a portfolio, or events. But if it's just a sort of general page, you're probably going to want to go into page layouts, and then you've got loads of different options of different pages you want, all pre-styled in the same colors and the same font and everything as the template you've chosen. And so you just pick the one that you like the most and chuck it in. So you can sort of see how simple it is. You're not having to build anything. You're not having to build a gallery. It's all pre-populated, and it all aligns to like your master style, if you want to call it that. It's all done. It's all got the fonts, the colors, everything. So that's really cool. And there's loads of stuff to browse through there. I won't go into it, but it's pretty much everything you need is gonna be in there for creating content. Back to the navigation. What's next? Design. This is where you set your design for the whole thing. Now, probably the best way to go about this is pick a design you like and stick with it. That's the easiest, because they're all done by professional designers. They pick kind of pairs of fonts that go together really nicely. They pick colors that complement each other and all of that. So the best way to use Squarespace is to do that. I think I'm a bit of a designer sometimes, and so I go in and I mess about with them. And if you wanted to go in and mess about with them, that's absolutely cool too. You can experiment, and this is where you do that. You pretty much don't have to worry about a lot of this, but fonts you might want to do, and colors. So the font pairs or package that comes with this site are here. It's Kepler standard, but you can switch it. So if you hit switch, it's going to give you a load of other different packages. And by packages, this is like a couple of fonts that it thinks go together well. So typically it's one font for your headings and one font for your sort of paragraphs, which might be a bit easier to read. Headings might be a bit bolder and a bit sexier. Paragraphs might be a bit simpler and easier to read. And you've got the choice here between sans serif, serif, and mixed. And then if you want to go that extra level, you can jump in and actually specify individual fonts and do all that if you really want to mess about with that. But like I say, to get the best out of it, I just stick with what they give you. For colors, I can see how that might be something you want to might tweak more to be like your brand. And so you have this 5 color palette that the site runs on. I know it looks like 3, but I'll explain that in a minute. Within color palettes, you've got designer ones, so things that they think go together really well, these little pills. Or you can pick from an image. So if you've got a really colorful logo, you can upload it here, and it's going to kind of pull the colors from it and apply them to your site. Or you can pick from just one color that you like, or again, you can go in completely freestyle and mess about with it yourself. And what you end up with is, let me show you. Yeah, it's showing 3 now, because I think what it's not including here is black and white, which are with every font. And then once you've got your colors picked, you can go in and you can actually mess about with your preferences on each actual section. So this is your sort of salmony pink section, and it's got black type. You can say, oh, actually, I really want blue type on that section. So you can see you can really dig down and customize it if you really wanted to do all of that stuff. The only other thing to show you on here is it's kind of within Pages, but you can kind of do it wherever you want. This big old edit button here, that's where you actually edit the page. So you can see we're still on our About Us page. If I jump up into edit, you can see all these different sections, and that's again the template. And then to edit in each individual section, you just click this little pen pencil thing. So if I click in there, actually to edit the text, you don't need to do that. You could just say, jump in and start typing, just like you're in Word or anything else. And then you've got this little editor to style up your text. Again, a bit like an app. And you can just choose your different type styles. And then this lets you play about with color, where you want it aligned, all of that. But again, not to go on about it too much, but if you don't want to mess around with all of that, just use a template that's there and just pop your text in. And that's probably right. Commerce, if you want to store, you go into commerce, and it's got its own little separate guide. I won't go into this in too much detail, but with all these things, you can ask me about them later. But it does everything you want from a store and more. You can get set up with PayPal, with Stripe. You can have payment devices for like if you're running like a physical store as well, and link them up and all of that. But if you do want to add a store, commerce is where you would do it. Marketing is an important section. So here you can mess around with your SEO. And I know one of the questions that came through on the survey was SEO and Google positioning. So back in the day, Squarespace had a bit of a reputation for not being very good with SEO, but that's not true anymore. It wasn't true at the time, but it's definitely not true anymore. You can do it completely yourself. The only thing you need to do is you need to go through it a little bit, each page by page. With WordPress, you can plug in these plugins that help you do your SEO a bit easier by you just working in them. And so with Squarespace, you actually have to go into the pages and optimize it. But within there, there's this awesome checklist, which is one of the things you should go through when you're getting ready to launch. I'll just show you that real quick. And there's loads of these like little guidey things, all peppered throughout Squarespace to help you as you get along. So what else is in marketing? You can do your pop-ups in there. You can help out with Instagram stories. You can do your location. So if you've got a physical store and you want to get linked up to Google My Business, you can pop your location in here, and you can do like your opening hours and everything, so that when you're all linked up to Google My Business, it's reflected in Squarespace. You can also do announcement bars. So just every now and again you might have an announcement to make about your site. You've just launched a new product, something like that. So that's where you can do all that from here as well. Scheduling is the Acuity thing that's like Calendly, but sounds like it could be better. Analytics, it's got its own analytics built in, which is awesome. It's going to tell you what your traffic's like. Obviously, we've got no data because we're a new website. It'll tell you where people have visited from, and you can see time period. But this will also link up to your Google Search Console, and it'll also link up to Google My Business and Google Analytics, and that will all plug into this bit. Profiles, that's some proper advanced stuff. I wouldn't worry about that right now. That's when you've got a great big online store and you're starting to create user accounts for people, because there might be kind of frequent visitors. And you can go in here and you can see how much they've spent in the last month and how often they've clicked on your store. And so you can then send them targeted marketing. Help is obvious, and then settings was all that other stuff we did at the beginning. Last quick thing about settings is you can build all your social links in here. So you don't have to go in, add a picture of Facebook, and then link that picture through to Facebook. You just chuck it all in here, and it automatically populates the right icons for you. So that's really cool. And then connected accounts. So you mentioned blogging. You can have when you do your blog, you can then hit post, and it'll go through to all the connected accounts you want it to be connected to. So Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, whatever you want. That's what you would do here. Extensions are those sort of plugin-y things like you were talking about in WordPress, but again, all optimized and perfect for here. Permissions is your different users if you've got friends helping you out. And then the last thing I mentioned on here is email and G Suite. So you might have your email already set up. If you don't, you might have heard of G Suite. It's kind of Google's business email account package thing. So you can get that through Squarespace. And if you go onto the second from bottom package, which is the business plan, you get that free for a year as well. So it's only 55 quid, but it's 55 quid in your pocket. And you get access to everything else like Google Slides, Google Docs, all of that, but all with your business. And then you get your domain name as your email address all in there. Other good thing here is your billing and account. So when you are getting ready to go live, this is where you put in your credit card details. Now, just to say on this, you get 2 weeks before you have to pay anything. So 2 weeks to mess around with your site. If you go through somebody like me, and again, you don't even necessarily have to pay me, but if you sort of partnered with me on it, I can get you 6 months free to mess around with your site because I'm a Squarespace Circle member, which is like a developers group type of thing. And I can also get you 20% discount on your annual membership. So that's that.